Hello and welcome to the Future of Loyalty podcast with me, your host, Tom Peace. The Future of Loyalty are a series of informative and engaging podcasts with a laser focus on the emerging trends within the customer loyalty, engagement and CRM sector. I invite industry leaders and subject matter experts to discuss the future developments in customer strategy, and all our discussions are focused on where the industry is going next. Our discussions are fueled by a passion for new developments and innovations in the sector, and we aim for about 20 minutes, perfect for your coffee break, your lunchtime, or your journey home. If you enjoy this podcast, please subscribe at www.theloyaltypeople.global to get all our content direct to your inbox. And this week I'm joined again by Andrew Mann and Anders Mittag to discuss loyalty in the grocery retail sector. We previously recorded a podcast about the challenges in grocery retail loyalty and the future innovations in that space. And that prompted us to have a further discussion about how effective grocers are at creating shopper marketing and customer data solutions. And we've come back together to talk about that specific topic in today's podcasts. So first of all, some introductions. Andrew, would you like to give us a quick introduction, please?
Hi, I'm Andrew Mann. I've had decades of working in retail marketing, running some of the UK's largest loyalty schemes at Tesco and Sainsbury's and at the Co-op and at M&S. So I've been around a bit. And for the last 4 years, I've been running my own consultancy, North Bailey.
Perfect, thank you. And Anders?
Yes, hello everybody. My name is Anders Mittag. I've worked the last more than 10 years for Coop Denmark, running the loyalty program and digital channels. Last 2 years running the carve-out of Coop as Chief Commercial Officer in Lobyco. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, marvellous. Thank you so much to come back on the show, both of you. It's a pleasure to have you both. So today we're talking about shopper marketing and the future of this particular innovation in the loyalty space. And within the grocery sector, this isn't particularly new. This has been around for many years. I know that I really started my loyalty journey with Nectar, doing exactly this for Sainsbury's, and a lot of major grocers have implemented this solution, which is essentially using the data as a source of revenue with the suppliers of your supermarket, giving them anonymized access to customer data so they can learn from how their consumers react to their products, and also shopper marketing solutions both in store and online, which are highly targeted to develop again the customer engagement and the loyalty. And this solution is now being rolled out to much smaller grocers across Europe. A lot of different businesses are getting involved, and other businesses, any business that has a large database, can start to think about these solutions. Also within other sectors, we're starting to see this happen in sectors such as telco. So Anders, I'd like to bring you in here because I know that you've essentially created Lobyco as a solution to this within the industry. So tell us a bit more about how this is emerging and growing and across Europe.
Yes, thank you. Let me use the example of Coop Denmark. So when we launched the loyalty program and quite fast got more than 50% of the population to participate in the program, we realized that we had a huge value here, because instead of people going at Facebook or Google, the suppliers could target people in a grocery mindset when they were using the loyalty card or the digital app of Coop Denmark. So we quite quickly began to monetize, gamifications, coupons, continuity, and we could see that the suppliers like Mars, Nestle, Unilever, Procter & Gamble, they were actually willing to engage in programs like that because the audience was so segmented and they were all of them focusing on grocery retail. So that was a great example, and we made our first expressions there. If we then look at Profi in Romania, so they have around 1,500 stores. Last year, I'm sitting with the number here, they played 95 million games during their loyalty program in the app. So that's more than 6 million prizes that is actually sponsored by suppliers like Coca-Cola, PepsiCo, and so on. So that this just shows that there are some really concrete, what you can say, use cases here. We call it actually the triple win. So it's a win for the consumer because everybody wants to win a game. It's a win for the retailer because this gives extra traffic to the store. But it's actually also a win for the supplier because they much rather send out products to people in a grocery mindset than somebody that are not in the mindset. So it's high quality sampling. So these were just some of the examples that we see very tangible.
Amazing. That's really cool. I really like that gamification example of where shopper marketing is actually being used to really engage the consumer quite specifically. Great, thank you. So, Andrew, I'd like to bring you in now. Obviously, you've got a wealth of experience. You kind of brought this in with Nectar, I know. So tell us a little bit about your thoughts on how this is used within the business.
I think what's really interesting is there's always this dynamic tension in a retailer between the marketing teams who are focused around doing the right thing for the customer, the commercial teams who are quite rightly focused on getting the right product for the right consumers and delivering the margin, and then the finance director who's sitting there going, where can I invest to get the money that's going to balance it? So if somebody says to the finance director, I can give you £50 million, he's going, great. I like that idea. But at the same time, you've got this sort of strategic ambiguity that exists because the commercial team have got, massive commercial conversations they're having with all the suppliers. So you don't want to get into that. And the marketing teams are trying to do the right thing for the customer and build it all together. So one of the things we worked on with Sainsbury's was we tried to get rid of that strategic ambiguity very early on by setting some really clear goals about what we thought you needed to do from a revenue perspective, how you'd manage it from a customer perspective and do the right thing for the customer. But at the same time, make sure you're accessing new money rather than switching money from what the suppliers would have moved into from a commercial perspective into those enemies. So the ideal thing would be is if you can get more money that's effectively advertising money that would have been spent on Facebook and other sort of digital plans or other areas, and that money is being spent incrementally into the retailer's sort of business. But it's also delivering the right thing for the customer, because actually, if you're the CEO, right, in a retail business, I remember Mike Coop used to say to me, it doesn't really matter where you are as long as it's like when you're being chased by a tiger. Yeah, you don't have to run fast. You just have to run faster than the other guy. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Does that happen? Did that happen a lot in High Holborn?
It happened all the time in any retailer. You want to be performing ahead of the market and growing ahead of the market. That's the real challenge where you need to get to. So actually, as the CEO, what you're trying to do is make sure that you're growing ahead of the market in terms of those sort of things. And so being able to, Tom, you talked earlier about, letting suppliers buy customer data so they can do the right thing around ranging. That's the win-win that Anders was talking about, which is you get the right ranges for the customers, the suppliers get the right product in, and actually, they're giving you revenue as well in that sort of area. So with all of the use of data, it's trying to get that balance of win-win-win for everyone going forward. But at the same time, being really focused on delivering things as well. So it's a lot of work up front, I think, is the important thing to get alignment in an organization around why you're doing this and why what the parameters are for everyone.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it's important to consider that, because if you just go for, oh, well, we can make money out of this, then your objectives might be swayed towards, okay, we'll just go out to the manufacturers and the suppliers and ask them for targeted offers and better ranging plans, etc. But actually, you really, like you quite rightly said, you really need to balance that against, well, what are our strategic objectives internally? How do we also use these shopper marketing channels for our own benefit, for our own label products, or for our own strategic decisioning? Is that something that's at core with your business, Anders?
Yes, I think that when we launched it in Denmark, we also made a little mistake of selling all the inventory out to the suppliers. So we introduced flight control to make sure that we also could get the message out of our private label and other messages. So it's super important that you get this aligned and don't just run for the money, but actually run for what is actually best for the business as well. And then probably not make it too hard, or dream it up too complex, but start with the digital assets you already have available. So if you have a great website, or you're beginning to have a great digital app, try to start small and then grow organically, instead of just think you can build the big money machine from day one.
Yeah, absolutely. Perfect. Thanks. And that brings us nicely on to the next. I was going to say that brings us nicely on to the next section, which is about how you actually kind of access the further revenue from the brands. And I think this is where brands will start to see the shopper marketing as very measurable, very effective, and creating a very strong ROI that you can actually manage. Or measure rather. And in that way, shopper marketing through retailers actually starts to steal share from other types of marketing channels. And you mentioned it a few minutes ago, Andrew, about how do you actually start to monopolize that solution and develop stronger revenues from outside of your existing base. You're not cannibalizing your existing revenue streams. You're bringing in new revenue streams from other areas. And I think that's an interesting angle, right?
I think it is, and I think the lesson we learned when we were doing it in Sainsbury's and Co-op and all the retailers, and I think Anders had the same lesson, is there are probably 10 big companies that will be the first ones to adopt anything. So you could name them, Procter & Gamble, Unilever, Nestle, Coke, Pepsi. Those are the sort of big people. And when you're setting up an organization, focus on really engaging these guys first, because they have category management capability. They understand it works on an international basis, and they share learnings between themselves. So they'll adopt it very quickly. Then you can go to other people, and sort of the tail will continue in loads of areas. But I think it's trying to think about how you can access incremental money is the best way forward, and doing different events that effectively understand what the brand is trying to do, and tie into the brand. Because most brand owners just want to drive awareness, penetration. They want to drive trial. So you've got to find a way of giving them what they want, but at the same time making sure you deliver what you need, which is about, most retailers just want people to come back into the shop. That's the challenge of retailers got. And driving traffic is what the retailer's objective is. Driving penetration is what the brands is trying to do. So getting those two together is the most important thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other interesting thing there is around the website, isn't it? I mean, the shopper marketing solutions available through the website now are extremely sophisticated, and brands can, or grocers or other brands that have got a shopper marketing solution can utilize that across a much wider base, right? And we see brands like Amazon, the big grocers in the US, and even grocers here in the UK, starting to monetize that environment, that online environment for advertising, like you say, drive penetration, awareness of new MPD, etc. That's also a fascinating area.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the web traffic that the online business of a grocery retailer has, it's regular, it's high, it's a long period of people in a website. It can be transactional, but at the same time, it's actually very, very relevant, because if you're in the food business, you can, you want to be shopping where people are, you want to be shopping where the fish are biting. So actually, that's exactly where you want to go, and you can automate it. So it's actually it's an automated machine. Agree an expenditure, report on it very easily, and demonstrate to the CPGs that there's a real opportunity for switching money from good housekeeping into your website.
Yeah, perfect. Right, we've just got 1 minute left, so I'm going to ask you for your final thoughts now. So Anders, your final thoughts on this subject?
Yeah, get aligned internally in the business. So make sure you are thinking of, now you need to switch mindsets as a retailer. Normally you buy for your suppliers. Now you need to sell something to the suppliers. That
Yeah,
is a different
perfect.
mindset.
Yeah, absolutely. And Andrew, your final thoughts?
Don't get a retailer to run the business.
Right.
Somebody from outside of the organization, and create someone who's worked in media or technology that knows how to sell to not just to your account managers in the business, but to the wider marketing teams in your CPGs.
Yeah, wonderful. Okay, great. Thank you. Fascinating, guys. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure as always. Thank you very much for your time, and thank you for everyone for listening. We'll see you
Good.
again soon.
Thanks very much.